Good morning students. Today we are going to talk about the physical force theory for ascent of shape. These theories explain that ascent of shape is due to the physical forces, not due to the activity of living cells of plant. So, different scientists have forwarded opinion in favor of different forces responsible for ascent of shape. These forces are atmospheric pressure, capillary force, imbibition force, and transpiration pull and cohesive force. Firstly, we will talk about the capillary force theory. According to this, vessels and tracheids of xylem act as capillaries and ascent of shape take place due to capillary force. Second opinion, imbibition force theory. According to this, ascent of shape is due to the imbibition force of xylem wall. And third, most accepted theory of ascent of shape is transpiration pull and cohesive force theory. This theory was proposed by Dixon and Joly scientists in 1894, and it is the most accepted theory of ascent of shape. According to this theory, three components are involved in ascent of shape: cohesion, adhesion, and transpiration pull. According to some scientists, surface tension is also involved in this theory. Now, first component, cohesion. What is the cohesion? Mutual attraction between the water molecules is known as cohesion, which form a continuous water column in xylem elements. It means water droplets connected to each other by this force. Second, adhesion component. What is the adhesion? Attraction between xylem walls and water molecules is called adhesion force. It means connection between two water droplets is known as cohesion, and attraction between wall of xylem and water droplets is known as adhesion. Adhesion helps in maintenance of water column of xylem. Third, transpiration pull. Transpiration pull is a negative pressure or tension develops in xylem due to rapid transpiration in leaves because of high DPD. This creates a transpiration pull which is responsible for the pulling up water column in xylem part. So, ascent of shape is constitutive effect of cohesion, adhesion, and transpiration pull in the plant. So, transpiration peel is a passive process due to loss of water from leaves to atmosphere. A negative pressure or tension develop which move to root of plant in the xylem part. Then root hairs absorb water and minerals from capillary water and rise up the solution effort to stem and leaves. Conduction by xylem occurs by two components, cohesion and adhesion, which are the attraction between xylem wall and water molecules and between two water molecules. Then a transpiration pool is formed. It means water column present in xylem part. Thus, the water is continuously pulled up without any expenditure of metabolic energy. It means without use of ATP and without involvement of activity of living cells. Established that asymptote shape is by physical force, not by living cells. So, this theory received support from several evidence such as the rate of transpiration is related to asymptote shape. When rate of transpiration is high, then asymptote shape is also high, because this process occurs due to transpiration process. It means when loss of water from aerial part of plant, transpiration pool is formed in plant. Due to this, asymptote shape mechanism is held in the plant body. Now, this chapter has been completed. Now, we are going to start the next chapter. Title is Transpiration. Let's start introduction. What is the transpiration? When loss of water by aerial part of plant in the form of water vapor is called transpiration. It means plants absorb large amount of water from soil by roots, and only a small amount of water absorbed is used by plants, and the remaining water is lost to atmosphere by the aerial part of plant in the form of water vapor. This loss of water from the aerial part of plant body in the form of water vapor is called transpiration. Okay. So transpiration is a physiological process, and the loss occurs through special structure present as minute pores in plant called as stomata. Loss of water occurs through special structure present as minute pores in the epidermal part of plant is called as stomata. Stomata are present in leaves and green stem. But only few percentage, 1 to 2% of absorbed water is used by the plants, while remaining 98 to 99% of water lost to atmosphere in the form of water vapor. Absorbed water का only 2% part ही मेटाबॉलिक एक्टिविटीज में इन्वॉल्व होता है। रिमेनिंग 98% वाटर एटमॉस्फेयर में इवेपोरेट हो जाता है। सो 100% एब्जॉर्ब वाटर यूटिलाइज नहीं होता, ओनली 2% ही लीव्स के थ्रू यूटिलाइज होता है। द मिनिमम ट्रांसपिरेशन इज फाउंड in succulent xerophytic plants, for example Opuntia, cactus, because in succulent xerophytic plants cuticle is thick, then stomata are found in deeply and loss of water is less amount. And no transpiration in submerged hydrophyte plant. Submerged means aquatic plants जिनमें रूट पार्ट वाटर बॉडी में है, स्टेम है वो फ्लोट कर रहा है, इनमें ट्रांसमिशन होता ही नहीं है बिकॉज ये एक्वेटिक प्लांट्स हैं। सो गैसेस एक्सचेंज डायरेक्टली हो जाता है। मैक्सिमम ट्रांसमिशन इज फाउंड इन मेसोफाइट plant, dicot and monocot. Now, types of transpiration. Depending upon the structure involved, transpiration is of the following three types. First, stomatal transpiration. Second, cuticular transpiration. And third, lenticular transpiration. Now, we will talk about the stomatal transpiration. Stomata are minute openings found in the epidermis of leaves and on herbaceous stems. So, when loss of water occurs through stomata, it's called stomatal transpiration. About 80 to 90% of the total transpiration take place through stomata part. Stomata are plural form and stoma is singular form. Second type, cuticular transpiration. Cuticle is present above the epidermal part. In xerophyte, cuticle is more thick, and in mesophytes thickness of cuticle is less. So, when loss of water through the cuticle which present on the herbaceous stem and leaves. Cuticle is a waxy coating found on the surface of outer wall of epidermis. The amount of water lost through cuticle is very low and varies with the thickness of cuticle and accounts only 3 to 10% of total transpiration. Transpiration from the surface of herbaceous stem, fruits and floral parts is mostly cuticular, and cuticular transpiration take place continuously during day and night time. Now, third type, lenticular transpiration. Lenticels are the minute areas found in the bark of woody stem and the fruits, and these are filled with loosely arranged cells known as complementary cells. So, loss of water from lenticels is called lenticular transpiration, but lenticular transpiration is negligible and it is 0.1% of the total transpiration. Now, stomatal transpiration. Before this, we study about the stomata on the epidermal part. Stomatal transpiration take place through stomata. In order to understand the mechanism of stomatal transpiration, it is necessary to learn about the structure of stomata and the anatomy of leaves. Because the upper and lower surface of leaves is called epidermis, upper epidermis and lower epidermis. Between upper epidermis and lower epidermis, mesophyll tissue is found. In dicot leaves or dorsoventral leaves, mesophyll tissue is differentiated into pellicid and spongy parenchyma part. Pellicid is the pillar-like shape. Spongy parenchyma tissue have irregular shape. In mesophyll tissue, chloroplasts are present, whereas in monocot leaves or isobilateral leaves, mesophyll is composed of only spongy parenchyma tissue. So it is not differentiated into pellicid and spongy parenchyma in monocot plant. Let's see structure of dicot and monocot leaf. In dicot plant leaf, outermost layer or outer covering above the epidermis is called cuticle. Below the cuticle, barrel-shaped cells are present in uniform are called as upper epidermis. Like this, barrel cells arranged in lower surface, these are known as lower epidermis. Between upper epidermis and lower epidermis, mesophyll tissue are present, but in dicot plant, mesophyll tissue which contain chloroplast differentiate into pellicid parenchyma and spongy parenchyma. Pellicid and spongy parenchyma are combinedly known as mesophyll tissue. Pellicid parenchyma are pillar-like structure and it contains chloroplast and air space are less, but spongy parenchyma have more air spaces and these are also have chloroplast. In the center, vascular tissue are found, xylem, phloem and pith. But in dicot plant leaf, stomata are present only lower epidermis, not on the upper epidermis. So these are hypostomatic leaf. Hypo means below. In monocot plant leaf, outer surface of leaf contain upper epidermis, lower surface lower epidermis. But mesophyll tissue which is present between these surface are not differentiated into into pellucid and spongy parenchyma. So it only spongy parenchyma. In the center part, sclerenchyma, xylem, phloem are present. It means vascular tissue. But stomata are present on the both surface. So this type of leaves are called as amphistomatic. On the basis of their presence, it means stomata in the epidermis, the leaves can be of three types: hypostomatic leaf, amphistomatic leaf, and third, epistomatic leaf. Generally, leaves are of two types: dorsoventral and isobilateral. Dorsoventral leaves are found in dicot plants and isobilateral leaves are found in monocot plants. Now, hypostomatic leaf. When stomata are found only on the lower epidermis of leaf, is called hypostomatic. For example, in apple plant, potato, orange and most of dicot plant leaves are hypostomatic type. And such leaves are also called as apple type leaves. Now, second type, amphistomatic leaf. When stomata are found in more or less equal number on both the epidermis of leaf, it is called amphistomatic leaf. It means stomata present on both upper epidermis and lower epidermis. So this type of leaf is called amphistomatic. For example, in maize, oat, grasses and most of monocot plant leaves are amphistomatic type. These leaves are also called as oat type leaves. Now, third type, epistomatic leaf. When stomata present only on the upper surface of the leaf, it is called epistomatic leaf. Lower surface does not have stomata, so stomata present only on upper epidermis. For example, in water lily and other floating plants. And these are also called water lily type. In most of floating hydrophytic plants, leaves are epistomatic, means stomata present only on the upper surface of the leaf. Now, we are going to talk about the structure of stomata. Stoma, which is the single form of stomata, are minute opening found in the epidermis of leaves and also green stems. Each stomatal opening is surrounded by two specialized epidermis cells called guard cells. It means stomatal pore is surrounded by two kidney-shaped cells which contain chloroplast, nucleus and other cytoplasmic contents and water. Guard cell surrounding the stomatal pore is thick and rigid, whereas the outer wall is thin and elastic. Okay. and the cells around guard cells are a little different from the rest of the epidermal cells. These cells are called as subsidiary cells or accessory cells. These cells are different from other epidermal cells, and these cells surround the guard cells. The stomatal pore is open when guard cells are in turgid state. Turgid means fully, and the pore is closed when the guard cells become फ्लैसिड. जब स्टोमेटा ओपन रहता है तो गार्ड सेल्स टर्जिड कंडीशन में रहती है, और जब स्टोमेटा और पोर क्लोज रहता है तो गार्ड सेल्स फ्लैसिड मीन्स पिचकी हुई कंडीशन में रहती है. टर्जिड स्टेट occurs due to endosmosis and flaccid state occurs due to exosmosis, loss of water. During turgid state of guard cells, the outer thin and elastic wall of guard cells stretches outward due to pressure. This results into outward pulling of thick and rigid non-elastic inner walls, which become concave shape, causing opening of stomata. गार्ड सेल्स की आउटर वॉल जो थिन और इलास्टिक नेचर की है, आउटवर्ड पुलिंग के थ्रू वो स्ट्रेच हो जाती है, बट इनर वॉल जो नॉन इलास्टिक है, थिक है, रिजिड है, वो कॉनकेव शेप में हो जाती है, जिसके रिजल्ट स्टोमेटा ओपन हो जाता है. When the guard cells become flaccid due to exosmosis or outward movement of water, the inner thick and rigid walls become straight and the pore is closed. So, opening and closing of stomata is depend on the turgidity or flaccid state of guard cells. The number of stomata in the leaves may be in the range of 100 to 60,000 per square centimeter. Let's see. Open and closed stomatal apparatus. When endoosmosis, it means inward movement of water in the guard cells of epidermis, due to this, these cells become turgid. Inner wall of guard cells is thick and rigid, and outer wall is thin and elastic. In dicot plants, guard cells shape is like kidney, and in monocot these are in dumbbell shape, and both guard cells surrounded by accessory or subsidiary cells. Between the guard cells, stomatal pore is bulging. Due to exosmosis, inner thick and rigid wall become straight. Due to this, stomatal pore is closed and guard cells become flaccid. In guard cells, chloroplasts are present, and other epidermal cells do not have chloroplast part. So these are special cells in the epidermis of leaves. Let's see the difference between guard cells and other epidermal cells of the leaf. In dicot plant, guard cells are bean-shaped or kidney-shaped, while in monocot, they are dumbbell shaped. But other epidermal cells are barrel shaped. In guard cells, intercellular space, it means stomatal aperture is present. Stomatal aperture means stomatal pore. But in other epidermal cells, intercellular space are absent. It means stomatal pore is absent. In guard cells, cuticle is absent. Due to this, transpiration process occurs. But in other epidermal cells, cuticle is present. For difference, in guard cells, outer wall is thin and elastic nature, while inner wall towards the stomatal pore is thick and elastic. Thick and rigid. But in other epidermal cells, thickness of walls are uniform. It means even thickness. Next point. In guard cells, chloroplasts are present, but in other epidermal cells, chloroplasts are absent. It means guard cells are special cells in the epidermal cells which form the stomatal apparatus. Now, mechanism of opening and closing of stomata. Opening and closing of stomata is called as stomatal movement. When guard cell is in tertiary state, then stomata open. When guard cells is in fleshy state, then stomata close. So several hypotheses have been proposed to explain the mechanism of opening and closing of stomata. First hypothesis, starch-sugar hypothesis. Second, Stewart's hypothesis. Third, active potassium ion transport theory. But in these hypotheses, only active potassium ion transport theory is most acceptable theory at present time. But firstly, we will talk about the starch-sugar hypothesis. According to this hypothesis was proposed by J.D. Shire scientist in 1923. Prior to Shire scientist, Liot scientist showed presence of starch in the guard cells in 1908. So according to Shire, during daytime, the CO2 in guard cells is used in photosynthesis, resulting into increase in pH of guard cells. It means daytime photosynthesis process होती है, जिसकी वजह से गार्ड सेल्स में pH इंक्रीज हो जाती है. इट मीन्स 7.4 to 5 के समथिंग. At high pH, in these cells, phosphorylase enzyme become activate and starch which is present in guard cells due to presence of phosphorylase enzyme converted into sugar. It means starch converted into glucose 1-phosphate in the presence of phosphorylase enzyme. As a result, diffusion pressure deficit of guard cells increases. It means DPD of guard cells is high and these guard cells become turgid due to endoosmosis process, which causing opening of stomata. It means at daytime, starch which is present in guard cells at high pH 7.5, phosphorylase enzyme is activated which convert the starch into glucose 1-phosphate. This glucose 1-phosphate increase the concentration of guard cells, resultant entry of water molecules in guard cells due to endosmosis process. Then guard cells become turgid and outer wall which is thin and elastic become straight and inner wall of guard cells which is thin and rigid shape become concave. Then stomata is open. But during night time, due to absence of photosynthesis, CO2 is not utilized, then accumulation of CO2 in guard cells, pH of guard cells become acidic about 5. At this acidic pH, sugar which is present in glucose 1-phosphate converts back to starch. Therefore, guard cells become flaccid due to exosmosis and stomata gets closed. So, it is the just opposite process of stomata opening. Now, second hypothesis is Stewart's hypothesis. Stewart extend the Sayre hypothesis. So, according to this hypothesis, increase in pH of guard cells at daytime results into conversion of starch in glucose 1-phosphate, and then glucose 1-phosphate convert into glucose 6-phosphate, and glucose 6-phosphate finally convert into glucose. So there are 3 steps. Glucose and glucose 6-phosphate are more soluble in water as compared to glucose 1-phosphate. This results into increase in the osmotic pressure of guard cells, leading to opening of stomata. High OP demand the water inside the cells. So during daytime, starch and inorganic phosphate due to presence of phosphorylase enzyme at high pH convert into glucose 1-phosphate. This statement is also given by Sayre scientist. Further, Sayre hypothesis explained by Stewart scientist, and this glucose 1-phosphate convert into glucose 6-phosphate in the presence of phosphoglucomutase enzyme. म्यूटेज एंजाइम ग्लूकोज के फर्स्ट नंबर पे जो फॉस्फेट ऐड था उसको ग्लूकोज के 6 नंबर कार्बन पे ऐड कर देता है म्यूचुअल रोटेशन के लिए. देन ग्लूकोज 1-phosphate ग्लूकोज 6-phosphate में कन्वर्ट हो जाता है. फर्दर ग्लूकोज 6-phosphate कन्वर्ट इनटू ग्लूकोज ड्यू टू प्रेजेंस ऑफ फॉस्फेटेज एंजाइम. Function of phosphatase enzyme is the remove of phosphate. So, ग्लूकोज के 6 नंबर कार्बन पे जो फॉस्फेट 8 था वो फॉस्फेटेज एंजाइम की प्रेजेंस से रिमूव हो गया और ग्लूकोज 6 फॉस्फेट ग्लूकोज में कन्वर्ट हो गया और एक इनऑर्गेनिक फॉस्फेट रिलीज हो गया। Resultant concentration of gases increased, then endosmosis or entry of water molecules inside the gases, then guard cell become turgid and stomata open. During night, glucose and ATP molecules convert into glucose 1-phosphate due to presence of hexokinase enzyme. Hexokinase enzyme convert ATP into ADP plus inorganic phosphate. It means ATP is used and one inorganic phosphate bind on the first number carbon of glucose. Further, glucose 1-phosphate convert into starch at acidic pH and stomata closed due to flaccid state of guard cells.